Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports Georgia. Today we're going to be discussing the running back room for 2024. Got to be honest, from the outside looking in, this running back room looks actually really healthy, especially with the big time transfer in Trevor ETN. But let's go over to our Georgia insider, Bryce Mandala, to talk about this running back room. His thoughts. We were discussing this video. I said, hey, can we say that it's similar to the Sony Michel, the Nick Chubb, the Todd Gurley, one of my favorite running backs of all time? Are we close to that? I'm reaching here, but it's been a while since Georgia's had that 1, 2, 3 punch. They've kind of been lost that identity for the last couple of years. Great quarterback play, but not running backs like they had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, in 2021, we had Jared Cook and Zamir White. Cook is getting a lot of action, obviously, on the Bills, and then Zamir White, he is on the Raiders, but hasn't, I guess, made as much of an impact as Cook. And those guys both got drafted after the 2021 season. And now 2022, we lost Kenny McIntosh, who's now on the Seahawks. And this now season, the two guys who got, I would say, 90% of the carries, Kendall Milton and Dajon Edwards, both declaring for the draft. Both made phenomenal impacts, this past season. But those two guys, they're not, I guess you could say, star-studded running backs. They're serviceable for sure, and I'm not, going to be biased by any means. But those are both, 4th, 5th round guys, and they're going to make an impact on a team, but it's not like, they're going to come in, rookie Ezekiel Elliott seasons and Saquon Barkley's, but
yeah, and honestly, Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb, those guys are first-round guys, and Sony Michel, I think, was a late first round, maybe early, right? Early second round, where Sony didn't have this as great as a career as the other two, and Nick's still rolling somehow. But those guys, again, just power backs, just punch you in the mouth. And James Cook, honestly, I think is having a much better career than I think maybe anticipated.
Yeah, I realized the second I said Jared Cook. What am I talking about?
Oh, no,
James Cook.
Yeah, he's crushing in the NFL, and I don't think when that happened, I think he was starting to find his rhythm towards the back half of his career at Georgia. Could have won another year, and who knows? Could have had a statue. Not really, but good stuff. But let's dive right into it. First, running back. I'm familiar with this guy. Know him very well. Actually, I've interviewed him, had him on the show. You're getting a good dude. It's Trevor ETN.
Yeah, Trevor ETN obviously transferred from Florida. I'm sure you Florida fans are not too happy about that. May call him what were you saying, Trader ETN?
Trader ETN, it's our name.
So
we're creative down here in Florida.
Yeah. So, it's kind of, he broke the unwritten rule. He's transferring from Florida to Georgia or vice versa. That's not really been something that's too popular. I can't really think of has there been a guy that's done that?
We had Brenton Cox come from you guys and Kimber. Probably not the same production that you're going to get out of Trevor Etienne. And it wasn't, I think, to the same level. Yeah. You didn't even know you lost Kimber, right? And Brenton Cox, I think, had issues at Georgia. So it was more of like hey, you got to go, versus our star-studded guy picking up and going, no, I'm going to go play with the bad guys. It's a little bit different. But yeah, we've had it. Not to this level, though. This one stings.
Yeah, so number 2 running back in the transfer portal class behind Quinshad Judkins, who is at Ohio State, came from Ole Miss. The statistics, I guess, don't jump off the page. 753 yards on 131 carries. I remember I bet on him on Prize Picks a couple times, both over for his yards. His line was like 42 yards, and he got like 35 both games. So not a huge fan of him, in the betting realm, but also 172 yards receiving. But the thing with succeeding as a running back, it's just so much reliant on, offensive lines.
Sure.
Like if your O-line is creating, the gaps and the holes for you to run through, it basically changes your whole career. And Georgia has had the past 4 seasons a top 3 offensive line in college football, pretty much neck and neck with Michigan every single year.
Sure.
So, and that's what I think has propelled Kendall Milton and Dajon Edwards' career, who are now going to the NFL. I mean, are those two guys generational running back talents? Probably not, but like they did their job at Georgia and had great careers. So this is maybe a guy who could be a generational talent, and just gets back behind that Georgia offensive line and does really well in that role.
And look, this is going to be the only guy that I have the most knowledge about. Most of his yardage comes, or lack of yardage, comes to the fact that he was splitting carries with Montreal Johnson. There's about a game or two where he dealt with an injury, so he didn't play at all, where he could have racked up a ton of yards, where Montreal did. The other part of it, again, a lot of Florida fans are hating. This isn't me being a hate, but he was more of a third down back, kind of the back half back. Struggled pass blocking from times, so you lose reps when you can't pass block. Montreal is your old fashioned just fall forward 3 to 4 yards. Trevor's always going to try to bounce it outside and give you 10, which is exciting. It's electric, and that's what he would come in and do and make such a massive impact. And he's fun to watch. So I think the line has a lot to do with it. Florida has a lot of struggle on the offensive line. There is no secret there. We ranked 131st out of 132nd. So keep those things in mind when you see those yardage. He was doing a lot with very little. So phenomenal young man, phenomenal player. You guys got yourself a good one. And that's just the start of this running back room you guys got going on here.
Yep. So now this is our 4-star running back, number 2 running back in the 2024 class, Nate Frazier. He's a California guy. Actually, on Rivals, I believe he's rated as the number 1 running back and 5-star on that site. But most of the sites, 24/7 Sports, ESPN, have him as a 4-star and the number 2 running back in the class. This is another power back guy, 5'9", 205 pounds. Literally the exact measurables as Trevor ETN.
Mm-hmm.
And, as we progress into this, you're going to see this is a very power back dominated running back room that the Georgia Bulldogs have. Guys that, aren't super tall. You're not looking at like a Todd Gurley, who I believe Todd Gurley was like, a 6'2" running back. Kendall Milton is like 6'1", 200 pounds. These are burly guys who are taking hits like, lower center of gravity type of guys, but not too much to report on Nate Frazier. Haven't really seen him play or heard anything about him so far in the winter practices.
Not a bad guy to have though, as your 4th, 3rd, 2nd running back. I mean, these guys.
Yeah, he's gonna be number 4 on the depth chart, and so exactly. Not a bad option for our 4th option.
And this is what we were saying before, kind of comparing the running back room. That Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb was a very power back. You've got more to that scat back. That's that James Cooks, White, Sony Michel, right? They kind of fit that mold a little bit more. He seems to we're going back towards that just power back type of style of back. And again, it keeps going here with the other guys we got lined up.
Yeah, so this is Branson Robinson. He actually got a good amount of touches in the 2022 season. We had a few more, I guess, disgusting blowouts in the 2022 season than we did 2023. So he got a lot of action, especially in the national championship game where he had 2 touchdowns and, put on an absolute clinic in the 4th quarter of the national championship game against TCU. I mean, he was running through TCU's starting defense like it was nothing. You could kind of tell this guy was going to be a star, and I was super excited to see him play this past season. But 2 weeks before we kicked off the season, ruptured patella tendon sidelined him for the entirety of the season this upcoming year, and he was going to be our 3rd option behind Dejan Edwards and Kendall Milton. So kind of a downer that he ruptured his patella tendon. So we could potentially see him maybe lose a step. I'm not sure how, if there's any insider information on how he's recovered from that. But this guy is the definition of a power back. He went viral in high school with a 615-pound squat, 700-pound deadlift. I mean, this dude's an absolute monster in the weight room. 5'10", 220 pounds. Excuse me, my throat's dry. SEC Player of the Week in Week 6 against Auburn where he ran for a touchdown and 98 yards in that game. So this is going to be probably our number 2 option. He's going to be a veteran now. He's going to be a junior. So, and he spent a lot of time, I mean, the whole season on the sideline this year. So he's definitely going to be itching to get back. Super hard worker. Yeah, the dude's a beast.
If anything, you got a guy that you can throw in there for the tush push. So benching all that weight.
Absolutely. And then Roderick Robinson, who, is going to come in probably at our, number 3 slot, is a guy that had a very similar season. Well, in the games that he played, I know he got hurt. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but after like the first 4 games, he didn't see much action. He was a very similar back to Branson Robinson. He was a true freshman this past year. He got a lot of action in the UAB and Ball State games, and we were, blowing them out pretty good. 196 yards and 2 touchdowns this season. And then he also got in the Florida State game in the Orange Bowl, and we've seen him. If you're a Georgia fan, you've seen the Players Lounge interviews. He's been getting interviewed by Aaron Murray the past couple weeks, just kind of asked about what it's like to be a power back. And this dude is the tallest of the bunch at 6 foot, and he's also the heaviest, 240 pounds. I mean, this lineup, not a single guy under 2 bills. 5'9", 205, 5'9", 205, 5'10", 220, and then 6 foot 240. I mean, that's almost 1,000 pounds worth of running backs right there.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Another guy that I feel like people don't talk too much about is Cash Jones. Cash Jones actually had a crucial touchdown in the South Carolina game. He doesn't get very much action. He only had 160 yards this year. I looked it up before. But every time he goes in the game, he gets he gets love from the crowd because he's everyone's the white running backs in the game. But
you don't see too much of those anymore. So, look, I think you've got to be excited for this running back room. Like I said, I think it has the potential to be something special, just given the sheer size. 6 foot 240. That's your third guy, possibly second guy that you're looking at. I mean, and again, Nate Frazier alone can come in and make a massive impact. That's your freshman running back, number 2 running back in the country. Running backs are able. I mean, Trevor was a freshman just 2 years ago, and he was electric at Florida. So I'm assuming Nate can come in and be that exact same thing. Look, I think running backs are a dime a dozen in a good way. You know, they're all kind of 1 through 10, 1 through 20. You're not quite sure what you're going to get. And I think the youth doesn't play much of a factor. So I think Nate's going to be more of a, I believe, but again, if he's not, it's because your running back room is going to be that elite. And that's dangerous. That's exciting. We lost Bryce there. Now he's back. I lost you for a second, but yeah, look, I think that running back room is something to be excited about. We were talking again. I wouldn't put in the Todd Gurley status, but how excited are you for this running back room compared to years past?
I mean, there's just such a common theme, and it's like I've said, the power backs. It's just guys who are kind of all built relatively the same. We don't really have that super fast speed guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, I guess what you saw with like Alabama was just blazing fast.
Sure.
But it's just the common theme is kind of what I'm excited about the most. Every guy is kind of built the same, has the same play style, and there's depth. There's depth like never before, I think.
North and South guys for sure. Look, when Trevor gets on plane, he gets it rolling. It's hard to catch him, but it's not that quick twitch speed like you said, like where Jahmyr you could just feel he's fast. Like all these guys are quick, but it's like a cheetah fast, like a Tyreek Hill type. So
yeah,
look, should be fun. If you guys like these kind of videos, let us know. We could definitely do other rooms. I know Georgia's tight end room is special. We've talked about that one. The quarterback room is an interesting one, wide receiver room. So if you guys like these kind of videos, let us know in the comments. Give us your thoughts on the running back room. Are we crazy on being this hyped about it? Are you guys more pessimistic about it? I'm sure you'll let us know in the comment section down below. Again, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Till next time, I'm Shelton. That's Bryce. We'll see you, boys. Peace.